Hey guys, hello, welcome. We're going to do the Radiant Archetype today for the Specializations. I'm pretty excited. Okay, so first off, his primary super stat is Presence, which is bonus healing and stuff, which is great because it's supposed to be a healer type archetype. And we have Ego, which is range damage and hold resistance. And we have Intelligence, which is basically just your power recharge speed and your power cost discount. Makes stuff quicker to recharge, and it makes things cost less. Now, for his specializations, which we'll get into now, well, I guess before we start, I should say I'm building this spec tree with a team in mind, grouping, and also because he has Presence, which innately gives bonus healing. I'm not going to go for any type of crit healing, because crit healing just means you heal more because you have crits, whereas if you go for more Presence, that's just a flat amount of bonus healing. So since we're main stat is Presence, if it was like Ego, Intelligence, and Dexterity, then yeah, that would go more crit healing, because you have a lot of crit from Dex, but since we don't have any Dex already, we have 10. I'm just going to go with Presence, so that means I'm not going to get any type of thing with any crit healing on it. So I'm just letting you guys know. Okay, so let's get started. First, we have the Presence thing here. Let's start with Selfless Ally. I put 2 points in there. Healing a friendly target heals you for 10% of that amount. That is good, because it heals you while you're healing your friends, and you should be healing your friends, and it's passive from this, so that would be nice. You don't have to focus yourself to heal, if that makes sense. And Repurpose. Your offense from items now grants a 1% bonus. a 0.1% bonus. Yeah, this one isn't really that fantastic. It doesn't give hardly any healing, like 0.1% bonus healing for each point of offense, and I only have like 134, which is pretty good. But it's really not that fantastic. I wouldn't get it. We have Dominion. Increase the amount of hold strength your presence grants by 50%. That is good, because your guy has lots of holds. With advantages spent on your abilities, you have 7 ways to keep people down. You have stuns, you have paralyzes, and you have snares. So that's good. This helps with that. And you want to have your snares stuff, because later in the tree we'll get to it. It's okay. Grandeur, you have 2 offense for every 10 presence you have. Basically, I put 1 point in there because I needed to get to the next tier right here, because you need 5 to get to the next tier, and this wasn't going to cut it, so I just put 1 point here. As you can see, I have 2. That's because I had 1 point left, but we'll get to that in a second. We have Brilliance. Your critical heals now increase the healing you do to that target by 1%. Stacks up 3 times. This isn't bad, but since we're not going for crit heals, you're not really going to benefit from this, because you're not going to crit that much. And then we have Moment of Glory. Your secondary super stats now increase your crit chance, which sounded like it'd be okay, but currently they only increase my crit by like 2.9%, and that's really not going to make a difference, because 2.9 isn't fantastic. So I didn't go for that either. We have Force of Will. Your secondary super stats now grant defense. Now I thought this was good, because you have no defense at all. I mean, you have heals and stuff, but as far as mitigating damage, you don't really have that. And I wanted this to be a little balanced, so I went with to have more defense. And Vulnerability, your paralyzed and sleep effects now decrease the target's resistance. This is good, especially in the team setting, because you have Condemn right here. With the advantage, it paralyzes the main target and it stuns the surrounding targets. So you can spam this if you want. You can use this, and then this decreases their resistance by 10%, so everybody in the whole team does more damage towards the boss or the mob or whatever you're doing. And then I have 1 point left, and I just stuck it in here because why not? I mean, you can put like the points anywhere you want. Like if you really want, this extra little bit of crit chance. But I'm thinking this is probably the best way to go. Next we have Sentry. Fortified Gear. I put 3 points just because I actually started off with this one first, so I go with this first. Sentry Aura. You and your teammates gain additional 6% resistance to all damage. That is very nice. So I obviously got this for 3 points. I need 2 points left to get to next tier. And you have precise. The strength of your single target attacks and your heals and shields on other players increased by 3%. You can get up to 9, but since you have a lot of presence, I guess the 9% bonus healing is not bad, but it depends. You can either have more healing or you can go for a little bit more defense. I'm thinking in the team setting, I guess you go for more healing, but just in case something happens, I went with more defense. It's really up to you, but I just went with fortified gear. Hopefully that's alright with you guys. And we have Twisted Fate. Your energy builder grants stacks of Twist Fate for 5 seconds. This increases your dodge and crit chance. If you're going for a crit healing build, then I would get this, but we're not. So I skipped that. So initially I put 2 points in here, okay? And I didn't put any points in here. Then I went straight to the next tier. And you have Fortify whenever you get a critical effect from healing powers, from damage or healing. I didn't get this because we're not doing the crit build. We have Stalling Tactics, increase the duration of your stun, sleep, and snare effects. You have those, except for sleep, so I thought that was good to have. Persevere, excuse me. Single target attacks made against you have a 10% chance to heal you and your nearby ally for 10% of the damage dealt. 10% of the damage dealt isn't really that much, comparing that most things don't really do all that much damage. And since only a 10% chance to even happen, to me it's not really that great. So I didn't go with that. Reinforce, whenever you critically heal, your target gains 5 resistance, Like I said, we're not going for crit heals now. So I didn't go with that. So I had 3 points, and then I had 2 points left. So I just put 1 in fortified gear, and I put the other one in precise. Excuse me. But you can put them anywhere you want. If you really want precise to be maxed out instead of this, you can. It's really up to you. Like I said, totally up to you. But I'm thinking since you're probably going to try to level with this anyway, doing like solo stuff, doing missions, I thought maybe the defense might help a bit. So that was my reasoning on that. Next we have Sentinel Aura. You and your teammates regain 263 health every 3 seconds. That's not bad. It's passive, so it's always going on. So that's good. As you can see right here, it's right there on your buff list. You have 3 points in Caregiver. I'm going to explain that later because I just put the points. I guess I can explain now. The strength of your heals and your shields on players is increased by 12%. You don't have any shields, but you do have some heals. And I put 3 points in there because there's really nothing else in this tree that I wanted, because I initially just had these 3 points in these two, which is 2 for this is Torment. Increases the duration of your hold powers. You have those, so I thought that would be nice to have. And you have Internal Spring. Your crit heals, like I said, we're not going for a crit. And in the top you have Moment of Need. Increases the chance to get a critical heal by 3%. You probably get that to 9, maybe. And if you're going for a huge crit build, I guess not a huge, but if you're going for one, you can take this. That's really good actually, but we're not going for one, like I've just said. Sorry if it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but I'm just making sure that I explain the reasonings why I don't take things. Rejuvenated, your active heal over time. Ticks have a 33% chance to grant you 5.1 energy. Only problem with this, it sounds cool, but I believe it's bugged. It doesn't work. People have tested and they don't get any energy back. So I would take this at your own risk. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work right now. It's not working. 2 points in Wither. Your hold effects now also cause your target, to take an additional 10% damage. That's also good. It's the same kind of thing. Paralyzed, stun, and sleep. So those, you have a stun, and you have, I think you have a paralyzed? Yeah, you do. So that's good. Makes everybody do more damage to them. You have 2 points. You have Genesis, reduces the energy cost of heals and shields. If you want to reduce the energy cost, I'd recommend getting with gear like this, than actually spending specialization points in it. So I have 3 points left. So I just put them in Caregiver just for the extra heal, because that makes sense. So now we're going to go to the mastery stuff. And this is actually kind of weird because each one can actually be useful. Most of the time it's only like 1 or 2, but this one, pretty interesting. Each have their own speciality, so let's go with Presence Mastery first. Your direct heals also shield your target for 10% of the amount healed, and your direct shields also grant the target 10% additional healing received. Both of these last 6 seconds. Now the Presence Mastery is good if you're healing a tank that's kind of squishy or doesn't have that much defense, or that can die real quick or can lose health a lot. So if you have a tank that needs a bit of an extra, damage resistance boost, I would go with Presence Mastery for the shielding and the healing and stuff. So that's where this is good, I believe. And you have Sentinel Mastery. Your paralyze, incapacitate, stun, and sleep effects cause allies who strike the affected target to be healed for 2% of their maximum health. Target can only be affected by this heal once every second. The duration of this effect lasts up to 8 seconds, but is dependent on the rank of your target. So you have paralyze, you have stuns. Incapacitates and sleeps you don't have, I don't think. So I thought that was really good, because you're fighting a boss, so you can put paralyze on them, you put stuns on them, and then while people are fighting them, they're getting healed for 2% of their maximum health. That's pretty good. It only happens once a second, but I mean 2% of your health every second is pretty nice, since it scales with max health, not just a set amount. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's good on like really big group fights. You've had a lot of people fighting like on like big public fights, like Taco Fangs, whatever you call that guy at the Halloween event, the Blood Moon stuff, or any kind of thing. Then that is fantastic in my opinion. We have Sentry Mastery. Whenever a damaging attack brings you below 50% health, the attacker is stunned, and you heal nearby allies for 10% of your maximum health. This stun lasts 3 seconds and is twice as powerful as normal stuns, and can affect enemies that are not normally affected by stuns. It can only occur once every minute. Now this is cool. It also works on Cosmics, but on Cosmics I believe it's maybe like 1 second, so it's not the full 3 seconds on those guys. So I thought it was pretty good. If you're fighting like a big boss, and like somehow you get lower than 50% health, but usually if you get that low, that means either you got aggro and the tank's not really working his job that well, or if everybody in your group dies and you're getting hit. I guess in that situation it doesn't really matter if you get healed or anything, because you're pretty much dead. And also it only heals your nearby allies. It doesn't say it heals yourself. So, but still is a stun. So if it does happen and there's still people alive, it does help, because it stuns the person and it heals them. And I guess if you're leveling or if you're soloing, that makes sense, because if you're getting a little low on health, it stuns the guy, so it may give you some time to run away. So it's like the only thing I think of that this really works well with. So there you go. And that's about it. So hopefully that all made sense. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm supposed to have the Unleashed Friday, but probably gonna be around Saturday. I'm sorry, but just the way things work sometimes, it's okay. Yeah, so like I said, I'm sorry about that, but I think it's gonna be okay. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.